And a very good morning. It is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live in New Jersey and the New York City metropolitan area, also live in Southern California, throughout the Los Angeles, San Diego area, now on LACA. Phone lines are open, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the weather near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike. So in California, we've got a little heat wave going on, huh?
We do, yeah. Good morning. We start off this morning with a little bit of milder weather. It turns out that temperature is climbing above freezing once again today across the east. You can see a little bit of that snow working its way just off to the south part of the mid-Atlantic. New Jersey just getting clipped there over toward Cape May. Out west, however, another round of very warm weather taking over as this high pressure allows for very warm tropical air to move in. So again, it's the east that it's all about the cold and the reinforcing shots of cold weather that continue right through tomorrow, with wind chills back down below zero for tomorrow morning. So this little extended warmth doesn't last for long. It'll be back down in the freezer later on tonight. Speaking of more cold weather, with temperatures anywhere from 25 to 30 degrees below average down across the southern part of Florida. So yes, it is the coldest in years today, with that jet stream taking a big deep dive and seeing that all of the snow continues for the mid-Atlantic and even parts of the south. We'll talk more about what we can expect for the weekend with big changes again, but I think it's our last hurrah with this sub-zero weather that's coming up in a few minutes, Ken.
So sub-zero weather is a weather that you could get a big expensive refrigerator during, right?
I lost you there. I say that again.
Sub-zero. You can
Sub-zero,
get a
yes.
big expensive refrigerator. Wink, wink. Sub-zero refrigerator.
No,
I guess
it's
you,
on my wish
you
list. The wish list.
yes, you got to be able to spend 25 grand for a fridge, which I cannot do. But nonetheless, it's something to shoot for. All right,
Mm-hmm,
sir. Thank
mm-hmm.
you.
It's after the
We will check
Ferrari.
back. Yeah, exactly. You got to have priorities. We'll check back, Mike. Thank you, sir. 26 degrees in Trenton. It's 29 degrees northern New Jersey right now, 25 degrees in Cape May. And in terms of, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, 59 in California going up to the upper 80s. Yes, very, very warm in Southern California. In terms of traffic right now, we have an icing condition on I-78, local lanes westbound at exit 58, which is 1 and 9 in Newark. All lanes are open, but there is icing, so please be careful. Other issues on 78 to tell you about: there's a jackknife tractor trailer, 78 eastbound west of exit 45, which is Glenside Avenue and Summit. 2 right lanes of 3 lanes on the right shoulder closed. On the, let's see, 295 right now, southbound, we have a crash south of exit 60, which is 195 in Hamilton. A right lane and right shoulder are closed. And we have an overturned tractor trailer now in the New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur northbound, entering interchange 15E, which is 1 and 9 in Newark. Considering there's an issue at 1 and 9 in Newark already, I think this is all connected because it's all in the same area. Oh, yeah, we do have a little something, something. Thank you, Pam, for finding that. Leave it to Pam. She will find it no matter where it is. So this is happening again at exit 15E, 1 and 9 in Newark. There is an overturned tractor trailer, so that's going to cause issues, obviously, as the morning goes on. The Hudson River crossings right now, let's take a look. Lincoln Tunnel now, the entrance, it's going to give you about 20 to 25 in 20 minutes at the Holland. GWB now has an issue. If you're heading there, there's a crash on the upper level eastbound in the vicinity of exit 1A, which is the Henry Hudson Parkway, Manhattan, with the right lane blocked. So it's causing those issues. That's why they did a close-up of that lane. You can see them nice and slow, nice and slow. And we have what looks like a broken down truck there as well, for a van in the right lane. Just beware of that. It's going to cost you 30 minutes into Manhattan. Over to the West Coast now we go. We have let's see what this is here. They're not explaining what it is. Animal hazard. What is an animal hazard? I think I know what it is. We don't want to get into detail, but that's on I-5 South by Mission Road off-ramp in central LA. There is a, let's see, collision. They don't get very clear on all of this in LA. Collision on, what is this? 10 South at 405, and that is in West LA. And then we have a construction issue going on right now, and this is in Baldwin by State Road 60 at State Road 57. In the news, breaking news in the Nancy Guthrie story. Police now acknowledge reports that 2 ransom notes were sent to media outlets. The notes allegedly demanding millions of dollars in cryptocurrency for the 84-year-old's safe return. They allegedly get into details such as what Mrs. Guthrie was wearing when she was abducted. Yesterday, President Trump announced that he would reach out to Savannah Guthrie and offer any additional help from the federal government that was needed. Also, investigators say Mrs. Guthrie's pacemaker stopped syncing with her Apple devices early Sunday, and blood spatters were found inside the home's entrance leading out to the driveway. The mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie remains missing this morning as law enforcement welcomes any tips that may lead to her possible abductor. A U.S. aircraft carrier shot down an Iranian drone that aggressively approached the ship in the Arabian Sea yesterday, just hours before 2 gunboats operated by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps approached a U.S.-flagged tanker in the Strait of Hormuz and threatened to board and seize the ship. The 2 incidents occurred days before U.S. and Iranian officials are due to meet Friday for diplomatic negotiations meant to avert a military clash. The good news is no U.S. service members were in any way hurt. Congress approved a spending package yesterday that secures funding for the vast majority of federal agencies through September, ending the second government shutdown in the span of 4 months.
Republicans got the job done. Our majority worked together, and we got the bills over the line. So we've now funded 11 of the 12 separate appropriations funding bills for the government for the year, and that's a big achievement.
Funding for Homeland Security will be a major challenge with partisan tensions, I should say, over the nation's immigration enforcement agenda. Jill Biden's ex-husband has been arrested and charged with murder in the death of his current wife. William Stevenson was taken into custody by police in Wilmington, Delaware, following an investigation into the death of his wife, Linda, who was found dead in December. No comment from the former First Lady. Bill and Hillary Clinton will appear before the House Oversight Committee in closed-door interviews on February 27th and 26th, respectively, meeting today's deadline imposed by GOP leadership to avoid being held in contempt of Congress. The Clintons initially decided not to comply with these subpoenas and skipped out on their scheduled depositions last month, at which point the committee moved to hold both in contempt. That could have landed the 2 in prison. It is a victory that could have a chilling effect on those who would help minors transition their genders. A 22-year-old woman who identified as a boy as a teen won a $2 million decision in a landmark lawsuit against New York doctors accused of pushing a double mastectomy on her when she was just 16. Fox Varian had the life-altering surgery after getting approval from a psychologist and a surgeon, both of whom a jury found liable of medical malpractice on Friday. Varian is now 22, and she considers herself a detransitioner. Psychologist Kenneth Einhorn and surgeon Simon Chin were held responsible for ignoring standards of care by pressuring the minor into treating her gender dysmorphia with surgery. Varian's mother, Claire Deacon, testified that she was against the surgery, but listen closely, she consented to it because the doctors kept insisting that if she didn't, her daughter would commit suicide. This is the bullshit game that leftist doctors and liberals on the left, those liberals love to shove right up your backside. If you don't do this, you're going to have a dead kid. Your kid's going to kill herself or kill himself, so you might as well just let them transition. Bullshit. They are brainwashing these children to say those keywords, and no parent wants to hear that their kid might commit suicide, so they'll do anything to prevent that. Meanwhile, the doctors walk away with 100 G's in their pockets. Do you see this? This is a money game. Even doctors who say it's not may not realize it in the back of their minds. It's a money game. This is gender dysmorphia. For thousands of years, it was treated as a psychological disorder. Once money got involved and surgery got involved, suddenly it was something that was treated with surgery. There are disorders where people want to have their limbs removed. Do surgeons remove their limbs? No. And if they tried, they would be taken to court. They would probably end up in jail. All right. They would end up with malpractice. But why is it okay to take a minor and cut off breasts or penises? Because it's gender dysmorphia. Because liberal wackadoodles say so. All told, 28 detransitional lawsuits are now in different stages of legal proceedings across the U.S. Bottom line, gender dysmorphia is a psychological disorder. You do not treat psychological disorders by cutting off body parts and by wink, wink, nod, nod, agreeing. Yes, that's right. That is a pink elephant in the room, Johnny. Yes, that's right, Johnny. You really are a woman. No, that doesn't help the person. And I am not going to go along with your fantasy. Sorry. It is 10 minutes past the hour. New Jersey has more than 600 school districts, more than most states, and lawmakers are debating whether consolidating districts can save money. Proposals include everything from mandating mergers to offering incentives to merge or even just share services. Consolidation could lead to lower property taxes, but some parents fear too much consolidation could lead to a loss of quality control over local districts. In the state of Florida, where I live part-time, there are only about 30 school districts in the entire state. State is like 3 times or 2.5 times the population of New Jersey. And they have no state income tax. And the cost of running things is way lower than in New Jersey. You don't need a district every 2 blocks. Some districts can consolidate and save a lot of money. And Pam, I don't know if you could see if Mike is available. He may or may not be. I'd love to get him if he is. And if not, that's okay. For those of you thinking about what to get your loved one for Valentine's Day, McDonald's, yes, good old Mickey D's, is launching a limited edition giveaway ahead of Valentine's Day that pairs one of its most recognizable menu items with a traditionally high-end product, caviar. The fast food chain announced Monday it would offer McNugget caviar kits, but you have to order it through an online-only site. It's McNuggetCaviar.com, and you have to wait to do it next week as I'm knocking down my mic. The kits will be available free of charge while supplies last. They will not be sold in McDonald's restaurants. Each kit includes a 1-ounce tin of barely sturgeon caviar labeled as McNugget caviar, a $25 arch card redeemable toward chicken McNuggets, creme fraiche, and a mother-of-pearl caviar spoon. McDonald's didn't say how many kits will be available, but said quantities are limited. They are expected to go quickly once the drop opens 11 a.m. Eastern time next week, February 10th. It's a good idea to get people. Mike, I'm sure, is there. He would love that. I don't know if he likes caviar, but it's a good idea to get people who have never tried caviar to try it. You like caviar?
I mean, I've tried it. I don't know if I'd have it from McDonald's. It's like, okay,
Well, it's
think of
not their
this.
brand.
Right, sure. But when you go out to a burger, it's like a steakhouse and get their burger, it's amazing, right? When you go to McDonald's, you expect something different. So is that the same, like on par with caviar? We'll see.
Well, spread it on the burger. All right, it's 13 minutes past the hour. We're coming back in 2.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Wednesday. It is 15 minutes past the hour. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
I mean, Mike, getting back to the caviar at
Mm,
McDonald's, it's not that you're going to get McCaviar. It's a company that is an American caviar company, by the way,
okay,
that is trying to promote their product. So they're getting thousands of media outlets promoting it all over the country right now. What are
sure,
they going to do? Maybe give away 1,000 tins of it? So it's not like they're giving
maybe,
away billions of dollars. But it's like when a new donut company opens in town and they go around to the local businesses and bring trays of free donuts. If you like it, you'll come. And
right,
but prior to that, you would have never known it existed. I bet you a lot of people who thought they didn't like caviar will try it and like it, and they'll get a customer for life.
maybe. Well, that is to be seen. I'm sure there's something there. It's working, right? The marketing is working. Yeah.
It's just
There's
fishy
some.
jelly.
Yeah, yeah, whatever you eat today, it'll probably be frozen, hard like a rock if you leave it in the car. Tired of going in the car and finding the frozen water bottle. Every time I want to sip, I'm like, oh, ice
Right.
again. What are you gonna do? Yeah, and here we
Here.
go with another round of deep cold coming back in for this weekend. The last few days have actually been quite pleasant, making it to just about the freezing mark with some clouds each afternoon. We'd likely see some more of those clouds today. Up, time to check in with the Olympic weather over in Italy with the venues here going all the way out from the Veneto up toward South Tyrol, there up in Cortina, and then back toward Milan, with most of these areas picking up a little bit of snow over the next 2 days. You'll probably see a lot of snow, and that's how you can tell when the footage that you're watching, it's either live or recorded, because they're getting some snow, even right down toward the foothills there in the Piedmont, not too far from Milan, not too far from the airport actually, there in the Padana Basin. More than an inch of rain through Saturday, so February is a tough month in northern Europe, northern Italy, that is, especially with all of that very cold and gloomy and gray weather with the rain that just seems to keep falling as it remains up into the 30s and 40s. We wish we had some 30s and 40s here. Instead, we're back down around 0 going into this weekend with another round of extreme cold coming in by Friday into the weekend. And there's a little bit of snow on the way as well. Could be some flurries that arrive close to the day, the beginning of the day on Friday. You'll see that here with the Futurecast showing Friday. A little clipper comes by throughout the afternoon, maybe puts down an inch or so, and then moves on by, giving us another round of brutal cold for the weekend. Sunny on Saturday and Sunday, but there's that cold that just keeps on digging right down into the beginning of next week. There are some milder days ahead. Got to wait about a week for that, though. We'll talk more about it coming up with another check of your forecast, Ken.
All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. Temperature right now in Trenton, as we would say, is 28 degrees. It's 30 degrees in northern New Jersey. That's actually pretty balmy compared to how it's been in recent days. It is 29 degrees now in Cape May. In California and Los Angeles, 59. It is 60 degrees in San Diego right now. In terms of traffic on the East Coast now, New Jersey, we have a crash investigation. Check this out. This is on I-78 eastbound, west of exit 44, which is Glenside Ave, Berkeley Heights. Left lane of 3 lanes closed. I think they got it off to the shoulder, so it's no longer off to the left lane now. You can see it's off to the right. But nonetheless, that is again on 78 west of exit 44, Glenside Ave, Berkeley Heights, and 1 lane appears closed there. So just be careful. A lot of ice on the roadway still from melting and refreezing. You get that. We have a crash on 295 southbound, south of exit 60, Hamilton Township, right lane of 3 lanes on the right shoulder closed. Another area of, you know what? I think what we just showed you was this, what I'm about to tell you. A jackknife tractor trailer 78 eastbound, west of exit 45, Glenside Ave Summit, 2 right lanes of the 3 lanes on the right shoulder closed. That's what that is. Yeah, so my fault. We put it, I read it in the wrong order. So that's what you have right there. Jackknife tractor trailer that's being taken care of right there. That's why it's kind of angled out into 2 lanes. We have delays on 495 eastbound from east of the New Jersey Turnpike, North Bergen to Weehawken, right down to the Lincoln Tunnel. All lanes open, just kind of heavy at this point volume. And then your Hudson River crossings, as we're in that area. The Lincoln Tunnel is now 25 minutes in, 20 minutes at the Holland. GWB upper and lower levels. Let's see if they give us the full shot. Okay. We talked about a disabled vehicle. There it is, the truck. It's being towed out. So now that would be involving the lower level. So the lower level approach you can see is going to be bumper to bumper to the GWB. That's going to probably cost you an extra 10 or 15 minutes. Upper level is moving fairly well. So try to take the upper if you can to avoid that. In terms of California traffic, what we have right now, let's see if I have a better, of course, as I pick up my, there we go. I pick up the pad, I took us off of it. So we have a traffic hazard now in central LA. This is on State Road Route 110 north at the Tunnel 3, it says. There's also a collision to tell you about in West LA. This is on 105 by 405. Another collision on 405 at West Sunset Boulevard. That's also in West LA. And we have a SIG alert. This is on I-5 South at Penrose in Altadena. In terms of our news right now, back to the East Coast, the Gateway Development Commission has sued the federal government in court of claims, alleging breach of contract for withholding money for the Hudson Tunnel project. The lawsuit says if funds are not released by a February 6th deadline, construction must pause, threatening 1,000 jobs. The Hudson Tunnel project would create a new tunnel to create a pathway for trains from points south to New York and points north. The current tunnel along there doing the job is well over 100 years old and was badly damaged in Superstorm Sandy. The problem for the commission is the majority of the federal funds come in the form of loans and grants, not congressionally mandated spending. That gives President Trump a massive advantage in this case. Well, following her fellow guilt-ridden, overpaid Hollywood leftist radical friends who use their bully pulpits to preach with unearned moral authority to people who never asked for it, singer-songwriter Billie Eilish, and she is a talented singer-songwriter, turned her acceptance speech into a political statement. Quote, "As grateful as I feel, I honestly don't feel I need to say anything, but no one is illegal on stolen land." So she said she didn't have to say anything and then said something. She finished her speech by saying F ICE, but she said the real word. Well, after Sunday's ceremony, people online pointed out the singer-songwriter's $14 million estate mansion is sitting on land that belongs to the Tongva tribe, the indigenous people of the Los Angeles Basin. And they're now insisting she put up or shut up. Either give back your estate to Native Americans or keep your trap shut, you hypocrite bitch. A spokesperson for the Tongva tribe confirms the home does sit on their ancestral land. My money says Eilish is going to be a hypocrite and stay in her house. Probably shut up next time. If you live in New Jersey, you know how expensive it can be. A new study by myperfectresume.com shows Garden State residents pay some of the highest taxes and housing expenses in the nation. In spite of pretty good salaries, economic growth has been slow versus tax hikes. Most folks in New Jersey will tell you no matter how much they make, the majority of their pay goes to taxes, housing, utilities, and transportation. As a result, New Jersey has been seeing a decrease in population, like many blue states, at least in the form of legal residents. Illegals just flow right in. And unless something changes, as in Republicans start getting elected, the state will continue down the road to ruin. Now, just what I'm telling you, CNN just sounded the alarm for Democrats nationwide, confirming that blue states are about to lose huge amounts of electoral college votes in the 2030 census. It looks like red states would pick up 7 seats as blue states would lose 7, giving the Democrats a net loss of 14 electoral votes.
According to the latest population estimates that take into account the population mid-2025, look at this. The biggest population growth this decade, all 5 of the states that Donald John Trump won in 2024. Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, and of course the great state of Arizona, where I spent my New Year's Eve. I love those folks out in Prescott, Arizona. These were the biggest gainers. The biggest gainers in terms of population compared to the 2020 census. Now, it's not just a red state boom. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at a red state boom here, but it is not just a red state boom. We're also looking at what I would dare call a blue state depression, because who are the people? Who and where are the people moving from into the red states? Well, they're blue states. They're blue states. Take a look here. The lowest domestic net migration this decade. All 5 of the states that were won by Kamala Harris in 2024. Look at this. California, Harris's home state. New York, where I'm coming from right now, of course. Illinois, New Jersey, and of course, the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which is a bastion of blue liberalism. These are the states that folks in the United States are moving away from and into the red states, which is propelling a red state boom.
Right, that's Harry Anton from CNN. That's not Fox News. That's not Newsmax. So why have people fled the blue states? Well, according to surveys, high taxes, high crime, huge numbers of illegal migrants, and a tough climate for businesses. But the left, it seems, will never learn. So they keep going further left. Same with the right. They keep going further right. That's not getting us anywhere. Now it looks like it'll keep the left out of the White House because they're losing 14 electoral votes. So it's something that I think both sides need to sit down and think about. And for 3 years, the state of New Jersey has controlled the Paterson Police Department. Now the state of New Jersey's chief law enforcement officer, the incoming Attorney General Jennifer Davenport, is facing scrutiny as she will revisit the issue. The takeover followed years of misconduct and a fatal police incident. Paterson officials, including Mayor Andre Saya, want to regain local control, and they've sued to end the state's supervision. Well, it should be noted that in the time that the state has had control over Paterson police, crime in the otherwise crime-ridden city has dropped pretty dramatically. And the New Jersey Lottery has announced the return of its annual rock, paper, scissors throwdown tournament at American Dream from April 10th to the 12th with a $10,000 grand prize. The free event is open to adults who will compete for a share of $25,000 in the total prize pool, the grand prize being $10,000. It's limited to the first 384 registrants. A new $5 lottery game will also launch in April in conjunction with the event. It is 27 minutes past the hour right now, and when we come back, artificial intelligence is transforming healthcare, but with that innovation comes serious questions about accuracy and trust. You know, it always feels like AI is right on the cusp of really helping. There's that fear that if we give in totally to AI, we'll all lose our careers and the robots will take over. In this case, though, it really is doing a good thing, so you'll want to check this out. Also, we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato live on both the East Coast and the West Coast on New Jersey, ONNJ.com, and now on LA. That's ONLACA.com. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Don't go away.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Good morning, 30 minutes past the hour, Wednesday, February 4th. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Our phone lines wide open, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full forecast for your area.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Mike, my friends in Los Angeles and San Diego are telling me that it's supposed to be in the upper eight. Well, you know this. I'm saying it like it's a surprise to you. It's going to be the upper 80s in Southern California. Would that be a record?
It's above average, certainly all the way up the West Coast, and the reason for that is this big upper level high that's just parked over the Pacific Northwest, dragging in all of this warm air. So yes, it is not quite record setting, but it is very unusually warm out west. And the big reason for that is the jet stream, which I showed you before, diving down across the plains, allowing for very cold weather out east, out west. It is quite warm. So you can even see it here with all of that snow working its way down through the mid-Atlantic, the cold weather in place. But the further west you head, the warmer it gets, especially down across the desert southwest where those clouds are even suppressed well down to the south. So a very, very warm week ahead for the folks out west. Now, out further to the east, over on Cortina, with the Olympics beginning in just 2 days. Some snow lasting through tomorrow afternoon there. Could pick up a good 6 to 10 inches before more rain comes in on Friday. So, watching all of the shows and watching the coverage, you will see some heavy rain falling in. Probably not going to see much sun with these Olympics, especially there in the they call it Media Padana, which is the plain area, the Po River Valley, what is just going to be covered in clouds for most of these games. I have to head over toward the Alps and the mountains where the temperature is very chilly in the 20s, but at least the sun will be shining a little bit more each and every day. Our forecast back here at home brings back the clouds this morning. Maybe see a little bit of sunshine later today, but it's all about the very cold weather that sets up for the coming days, especially with a reinforcing shot of cold air tonight into tomorrow. Temperatures back down in the freezer going into the weekend, and even a little bit of snow with a clipper system that comes in for Friday morning, lasting through the afternoon. You can even see that on the hour by hour with the long range futurecast showing again that clipper system diving on through, giving us a light round, maybe a little bit of a coating across New Jersey by Friday night. Tell you more about the rest of the week's weather and see if there's any relief from this cold in the long range. Ken, that's coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Mike, appreciate it, sir. 28 degrees right now in Trenton. It's 30 degrees northern New Jersey, 27 degrees in Vineland, and 28 degrees in Cape May. California, Los Angeles, 59, 61 in San Diego. In terms of traffic, starting on the East Coast, we have an issue on the Garden State Parkway. Let's take a look. This is a crash southbound just north of exit 82. Look at that. Lots of flashing lights. Thank you, Pam. This is, again, southbound Garden State, north of exit 82, Route 37, east in Toms River. The right lane is blocked. You can see there, they already have we got something moving out there, one of the cars. Police taking care of it, though. Maybe they took care of the crash. It's just cleanup time. I see the tow truck there. But we'll keep you updated on that. Again, Garden State Parkway, southbound, north of exit 82 in Toms River. We also have a crash investigation going on. This is on I-78 eastbound west of exit 44 in Berkeley Heights, the left lane closed, and then something else on 78 to jackknife tractor trailer, and that is eastbound west of exit 45, Glenside Avenue in Summit. 2 right lanes of the 3 lanes, and the right shoulder is closed. Maybe they're cleaning that up too, right, Pam? Yeah, that was. It's further back. Thank you. You could see better than me on your monitor. So it is still being cleaned up. But that was a mess an hour ago. So it's being taken care of. That's good news. Crash on 295 southbound, north of exit 57, 130 Hamilton, as I mentioned. And then we have something else on, something here on Route 46 eastbound, east of the Turnpike. To west of Route 93, Ridgefield, all lanes open, but we have a lot of volume there. It's probably ice, a lot of areas of black ice this morning, and folks kind of spinning and going much more slowly. Hudson River crossings right now, we're 25 minutes at the Holland. It's 30 minutes now at the Lincoln. GWB upper and lower levels getting a little slower. We're looking down at the bottom where it says my name there, call Ken. So that is the lower level approach. Upper level approach is going to cost you about 40 minutes, and lower levels about 40 to 45. Over to the West Coast right now we go. We have a report of a fire in West LA on Braddock Drive at I-40. We have a closure at I-110 and I-105 at that intersection in South LA. And we have an escort for road conditions. So that is LAT. I don't know what these initials mean, folks in LA. You'll have to help me. LARTMC. I'm sure someone there knows what that is. That's at 2901 Broadway in Altadena. And then we have, let's see, a SIG alert. That is on I-5 south of Penrose Street in Altadena. Just beware of that as you make your way. Very early still, 4:35 in the morning in Los Angeles, but things do wake up now and start moving along. Well, artificial intelligence is certainly transforming healthcare, but with that innovation comes some serious questions about accuracy and trust. Dr. Assam Hamza is CEO of Rocket Doctor AI. He's leading a new approach to AI in healthcare, one designed to help bridge the gap between providers and patients. And with that, we say good morning to Dr. Hamza.
Yeah. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning. So I guess AI is a two-edged sword, right? It could really help us, but there's always that fear and that lack of trust that people have, especially in the beginning. So at this point, how is AI helping to improve the interaction between patients and providers?
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head initially when you said it's about trust. Trust is really the most important thing right now when you talk about healthcare and in particular AI. You should always ask where they're getting the information from, how accurate it is. And, I always implore people to not accept something that says that they are 70% accurate. You would never go to your doctor or specialist and be okay with the lab test being only 70% accurate. And so it is very important when we talk about healthcare that it is very, very accurate. The second part is, how is it helping? Is it just a one-way street and only helping the healthcare system or the doctor? Or is it actually helping the patient as well? And this is what we really focus on, is about trust, accuracy, and how to improve efficiency and reduce costs and improve accuracy, care.
And that's amazing, because once you get it up and running and people start to trust it, the idea that they quote unquote make busy work that would otherwise take individuals a long time to sit down with a patient and try to figure out what healthcare is best for them, et cetera. The fact that a computer can look at 1,000 variables and figure it all out, that's going to be amazing. And I guess it's sort of there now, right? So, but there's still growing concern, I guess, about AI systems that so-called hallucinate. So what does that mean, that they hallucinate? Is it that they take all sorts of information and they don't know which is good and which is bad? What's that about?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's garbage in, garbage out. So historically, when we thought about AI, we thought about the chat GPTs of the world and so on. And the question is, these are generative large language models, and where do they get their information from? And historically, they've been scraping the internet for good or bad information, and they are forced in their algorithm to kind of give you an answer one way or another. And sometimes that leads to either inaccurate information or hallucinations, or sometimes the answer is different each time. With our system, it is not based on a large language model or an outside system. It's a proprietary system that we have, always accurate, always giving the same response, created by doctors, for doctors, tested and tried and true, used by medical schools right now for their medical students and testing their clinical skills and so on. So the trust part of it is really important, because you can't afford any hallucinations or any inaccuracies there. And so that is the number one thing you always talk about. And then the second part is, how is it helping? What parts of it is really helping the healthcare system? And, some of the numbers I can give you is that we're spending over $5 trillion in healthcare right now. It's not about spending more money in healthcare. It's about the inefficiencies. If a doctor is spending 40% of their time on paperwork, admin work, if a patient is frustrated on a Sunday night because their kids are sick and their only options to talk to anybody is either go to emergency room or go to ChatGPT, what can you do? And so imagine a 24/7 nurse, an AI nurse, talking to you at any time at all, checking, seeing how you're doing, onboarding you, triaging you, and helping the doctor in the diagnosis, as well as the whether you should go for blood work or not ahead of the appointment, and then following up with you or your child as well after the appointments to see how you're doing with the antibiotic, if there's any reactions, and so on. And so the idea of using AI in healthcare is not something that is theoretical anymore. It is practical. It's happening. And the question, again, is always going to be about trust and accuracy and what does it mean for the overall system. But the main part of it is, don't spend more money in a healthcare system that's already using a lot of money.
And doctor, I'm even thinking about new parents who might not have the best judgment yet and say, for every little thing, they're terrified and they rush their child to the emergency room where AI might be able to help and say, no, 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 just a little Tylenol and the child will be okay. It'll get the fever down, blah, blah. The fever doesn't come down in 2 hours, then go. Something like that kind of a judgment call that may help parents to allure their fears and not allure, but it's the word I'm looking for, to assuage their fears, and to obviously help the child. And then also, if the child has an infection, that helps prevent the spread of infection. You don't unnecessarily take the child into an ER, or if not necessary. And you said that large language models aren't used for clinical judgment. So what does that mean?
Yeah, so the large language models are what we call generative AI. They scrape the internet for good or bad information. They present information to you as if it's accurate, and then they keep learning from the inputs coming back in. And the problem with that is it can be contaminated. It can be contaminated with bad information. And so you'll see this a lot of times in the news where, some program like ChatGPT or others has started saying things it shouldn't say, either is hallucinating or becoming racist, or giving answers that are completely inaccurate. And it's because it's trying to think of an answer, and sometimes the information coming in that it was trained on is made it inaccurate. And so in healthcare, you can't have that. And that's the hallucinations we talk about. So those are large language models. In our system, it's a library, what we call Global Library of Medicine, that we created ourselves. It draws from this very accurate information that's always updated, and it can always be trustworthy. And that's kind of where I think the world is moving towards, is especially in healthcare. You can use the large language models for natural speech. Like, for instance, in our system and others, you can talk to it in any language you want. It understands what you're saying. You can change the voice and so on. And that's great. But where is it getting the information? Where is the brain for the healthcare information? And that's what we're talking about with kind of our system.
I love it. Doctor, we're down to about 10 seconds. What is a website for more information?
So it's rocketdoctor.ai. And if you're in New York, you can actually see one of the doctors on our platform, and that is rocketdoctor.io. We cover, like I said, most patients on Medicare, Medicaid, and all the top 10 insurers in the state as well, and across in California.
Awesome. Dr. Essam Hamza, CEO of Rocket Doctor AI, thanks for coming on this morning. We're coming right back.
Thank you.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Wednesday. It is 45 minutes past the hour. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, a heat wave in California and a cold wave coming to the East Coast.
Another round of cold. Yeah, but it's the warmth out west that's unusual this time of year, considering how we're starting to enter rainy season. It is dry, it is really warm, and there isn't a cloud across the sky across most of the west coast. So we stay nice and dry even for the next few days as the futurecast puts that big high pressure out to the northwest, allowing for that wind to keep any of the clouds away, even that moisture. That is until I think late tomorrow into Friday, where there some of the rain starts to move back in, cooling things down a bit. For the next few days, even going into Saturday and Sunday. And that rain sticks around with the cloud cover and the marine layer until we get to the early part of next week. So as far as the futurecast goes, we finish out the week with mostly sunny skies here in the East Coast, with all of the clouds off to our south, even with another round of clear sky heading into the weekend. But it's the quick round of snow that comes back, threatening us for Friday. That could give us probably up to a coating, maybe an inch by the afternoon. You can see it diving down, moving very quickly offshore. So certainly some flurries in the forecast, but this is the best part. When we look forward about 2.5 weeks to see through the middle of February what's going on temperature-wise, there is a big surge. So we flip, and the jet stream flips, allowing for the warm weather finally to spread across the East Coast, and parts of California dip into the cold. So that will be a very welcome change after so much prolonged cold here can across the east.
All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. Temperature of 28 degrees in Trenton, 27 degrees now in Vineland, and it's 29 degrees in northern New Jersey. California, Los Angeles, we have 59, 61 in San Diego. And in terms of traffic, we're looking at a crash on 295 northbound at exit 45 Mount Holly Road in West Hampton Township with a ramp lane closed. We have an issue still on the Garden State Parkway southbound north of exit 82, which is Route 37. East in Toms River. The right lane is blocked. Over to 78, there's a crash investigation eastbound west of exit 44, Glenside Ave, Berkeley Heights. The left lane of 3 lanes closed and a jackknife tractor trailer. We've been reporting on, I think we still have that shot, right, Pam? That's the one that's partially cleared up. This is was a jackknife tractor trailer. And but there still is, if you look at the top of your screen, you'll still see some emergency vehicles there. This is west of exit 45, Glenside Ave in Summit. The right lane and right shoulder still blocked at the top of your screen. And at the bottom of your screen too. So they're still clearing that up. All right, so just be aware of that. Again, that's 78 eastbound west of exit 45 in Summit. The Hudson River crossings, we have a 20 to 25 minute time into Manhattan, I should say, through the Holland Tunnel. Lincoln Tunnel is about 25 to 30. GWB upper and lower levels, we had an earlier crash. You can see that's moving now. The lower level there is underneath that elevated roadway. So that's moving, you can see about 15, 20 miles an hour. It's going to cost you about 30 to 35 into Manhattan, whether upper or lower at this point because the crash was cleared up. On the West Coast right now, we are looking, this is a report of a fire in West LA at Braddock Drive and I-405 south. There's also the closure of a road at I-110 and I-105 at that intersection in South LA, and a SIG alert at I-5 and Penrose Street in Altadena. Well, staying warm in the winter doesn't have to mean piling on bulky layers or sacrificing style. Joining us this morning is lifestyle expert and fashion stylist Dawn Del Russo, founder of LiveTheGlamour.com. That's glamour spelled British or French style with an O-U-R. Dawn has some easy winter fashion hacks that keep you cozy and chic, or as my friends in Trenton would say, chic, without looking like new Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. We don't want to look like this, right? Good morning to you, Dawn.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually, I must confess, I cheated. I'm in Fort Lauderdale right now. Same background, different location. So, so it's a little warmer. Although I will tell you, yesterday morning, I was told by the folks here that it was 31 degrees in Fort Lauderdale, which for them is terrifying because most homes do not even have heat in Fort Lauderdale because they don't they don't need it, right? They think,
Yeah.
but those few days a year when it's 31, they have nothing. So they just bundle up in
No.
layers. What you're going to talk about how to bundle up in layers
Yes.
without looking.
Exactly. I'm jealous because I wish I was there too, even though I know it's cold. But yeah, and I mean they're bundling up too. That means that is what we have to do here. I think hopefully, like I said, the next few weeks are going to be still be really, really cold. And I think some of these tips are pretty helpful, starting with layering, because I think the most frustrating thing is that no one wants to feel like they have this bulk on them. And the first one we're showing is men, and because I think that men don't always think about this, and there's a 3-layer rule for men for how to do it. So basically, they're going to start with a base layer, and that could be a thermal, that could be just a simple lightweight top, and then you're going to add, like we see a lot in New York, like a vest or a piece on top of that, a sweater that zippers up, something that you can take on and off if you go into an office and feel like it's really warm in there. Not typically, but could be really warm in there and you need that extra layer. And then a final layer like a coat layer, a scarf, and a beanie. Guys, for some reason, tend to not want to do the layers and not want to add the warmth, but then they're freezing outside. So it's a good way for guys to do a lighter pieces and have that flexibility of taking them off.
I just hate having hat head all day. I hate hat head. When I
I
worked for
agree.
Channel 7 in the city, Dawn, I couldn't, they'd say, how could you do that? Wear a hat. Because then I'd be on the air with hat head. You can't do it, So what I would do is I would get the earmuffs that clamp on that
Oh,
make you look like you have no ears and you have like a
yeah.
penguin head. But it would help. I mean, when it was bitter cold. But otherwise, I just didn't want the hat head. And, to
To
this
be
day,
honest with you, I don't either. I am not a big fan of wearing hats. I actually will take a big scarf and throw it over, which leads perfectly into a scarf. Buying a blanket style scarf, a bigger oversized scarf for women is such a great idea. I love it. I leave mine on all day so you can take it on and off throughout the day. But a blanket, it literally feels and looks like a blanket, but it is a scarf. And you can do it really chic. You could wrap it in different type of knots. Sometimes I like to do that double one around and bring it forward if you really want that warmth around your neck. There are certain parts of your body that if you keep them warm, the rest of you feel good, including your feet. We've probably heard this a million times from your grandmother, from different people in your life, but I say to do a thermal sock or a cashmere blend sock. We don't always think of that, but me personally, I don't like a big chunky sock either in a boot or in a shoe. I've been finding a lot of cashmere socks and they are so warm, very worth the splurge because your feet will stay warm all day and you could still look stylish. I think wearing them a thin layer like a sock that is cashmere looks amazing with a shoe, a boot. You can do it and you will stay warm with those.
Hell, I would put, cashmere looks good in the middle of a 90-degree summer, heat wave. Cashmere is always elegant and beautiful and comfortable. That's the beautiful part about cashmere. But that's interesting what you talk about a thermal sock because I've gone out on a really cold winter's day and you could put on like 2 layers of gym socks. It doesn't keep your toes warm at all.
No, it will not. And that's the thing that you want to think about because I think that's why people are so bundled and they look like, a snowman or a marshmallow is because they think wearing layer on top of layer on top of layer is going to be the answer. And really, if you have the right pieces, that's what's going to keep you warm. So the thermal pieces are definitely a lot warmer. I'll take a walk every morning. I mean, it's still in these really cold temperatures. I like to walk. So I will bundle up, but I will put the thermal socks on, even a thermal legging. I also love to wear a tights underneath. So I'll wear tights for the whole day. Even if I'm not wearing a skirt, I'll put them underneath a pair of jeans, put them underneath a pair of pants. It's that extra very thin layer that does keep you warm. And like I said, if I'm going on a walk, I'll put that layer, then I'll do the pants, I'll do the thermal socks. I'll wear a long sleeve thermal and then a nice chunky sweater over that. That is your bulky piece, but underneath you are warm and you feel like you're nice and cozy, but you don't feel like I have, 20 layers on top of my body.
And then I have the 2 words that any fashionista never wants to hear. Static cling. How do you deal with static cling?
Let me tell you, I have been dealing with this and it is the most frustrating thing. It's triggering, I think, in the morning when you're getting dressed and you feel everything sticking to your body. I have dug deep into research. I know dryer sheets are one of the top things we hear. We hear this all the time. They do work. I would suggest rubbing them on your body and then rubbing on the clothes so you get that double layer. Also, with the dryer sheet, do a layer of moisturizer anywhere on you and even put it on your clothing because that's where you're going to get the static from, is from that dryness in the air. I can't stand static on my hair either. I think that's the worst feeling. So again, do something hydrate, use a hydrating, an oil, and then I've used the dryer sheets in my hair. I put them all over my body. I think they work great. And also for your clothing, you could do a hairspray, which sprays underneath. I'll do 2 or 3 layers of dryer sheet, the hydration, and the hairspray because I don't like the feeling of anything clinging to my body at all. I think it's the worst feeling, static.
And if I could throw in something that I've used over the years, something called Static Guard. It's a spray. It's like
Yes.
$4 a can, and it's what it is. It's just basically water that they put positive ions in. They just give it an electrical impulse, and then they put it in the can, so you're not getting electrocuted. But you spray it on, and it just literally neutralizes the static charge, so that nothing sticks. It
Yeah.
works instantly, and it's $4 a can. I buy about 2 or 3, and the 2 or 3 last me all winter. They're great. Just a quick shot. You don't need to douse yourself. Static Guard. So
So
that's
worth it. So
I don't own the company. Exactly. So, now we talked about this briefly at the beginning, layering being key, Luther. And just with 30 seconds left, outerwear. How do you layer the outerwear without looking bulky?
Yes, so I love to belt outerwear. I think that's the key for women is to have something with a belt. If it doesn't come with a belt, you can use one of your own belts because it cinches the waist in. It looks really nice. Again, this is where we're going to look for the coat that doesn't have to be that big puffy coat. You can find really stylish coats, and I always tell everyone this is such a great way to make a coat part of your outfit. Make it the statement piece. Look for something fun. Look for leopard prints. Look for something with a little bit more style. Same with the men. Men tend to not do coats. Do a coat, do a pea coat, a little bit of a longer style, a wool blend coat, a cashmere coat. Again, looks amazing and it will keep you warm.
Peacoats are great. They're very sharp. We are out of time. Unfortunately, we could talk peacoats another day. Lifestyle expert and fashion stylist Dawn Del Russo, founder of Live the Glamour. That's glamour with an our.com. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Ken.
You bet. We're coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. Phone lines are open at 888-658-0234. Mostly sunny today, highs low 30s. Another bitter cold night tonight. Getting used to saying that. Rinse, wash, rinse, repeat. Rinse, wash, rinse, repeat. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has a full Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Yeah, Mike, getting tired of this bitter cold night, bitter cold night, bitter cold night. It'd be
Mm-hmm.
nice when the nights are warmer than like 10 degrees.
Yeah, can't wait for that. But I think in about a week, we'll start to see some progressive warming that'll take us into the middle of February. We're not done with winter yet, but at least we get a break, especially this morning where actual air temperatures start right at around freezing, 30 degrees there in Newark. So not terribly harshly cold, as has been the case the last few mornings. Even the wind chill, not terrible, with a still breeze across the state. Winds anywhere from 3 to 13 miles per hour. We are warming, at least since yesterday, a good 25 degrees up in Sussex than this time yesterday. So the better feelings around, especially with the southerly breeze, as a little bit of snow fell last night, just a little bit of a coating south of Atlantic City. Our weather today, pretty stagnant. We don't really see much of a warming. We get up to about 33 there over toward West Caldwell, 31 in Ramsey, 29 in Randolph, and even down the shore toward Toms River at the Audio Nova Clinic locations, 31 for you. So it's the forecast that brings back the real cold later tonight. It's another round of brutally cold air with a cold front that sweeps through, bringing our actual air temperatures by 5 a.m. tomorrow down in the single digits, west of 287, and even into the low teens at the coast. Tomorrow afternoon, barely make it out of the 20s, and then you can persistent cold again for Friday morning. Then the wind comes in with a little bit of light snow later Friday evening into Friday night. That could give us another round of light snow, and then we're back down around the 0 mark, going sub-zero throughout Saturday morning. So yeah, brutal cold on the way for the weekend, but I think it's our last round of this awful cold that will keep our temperatures just around the, what will feel like 0 into this weekend. We'll tell you more about that coming up with another check of your forecast, Ken, in a few minutes.
Very good, sir. We appreciate that. It is a chilly 28 degrees, Trenton, New Jersey, 29 degrees down northern New Jersey, 29 degrees also in Cape May. In terms of traffic right now, we have a crash on the Garden State Parkway southbound. It's been worked on for a while. This is just north of exit 82, Route 37 east in Toms River. Right lane is blocked, as you can see. The police have been on the scene there for a better part of an hour, doing a good job working on that. But that might be a bigger investigation if it's taking that long and they have all those vehicles there. So we'll keep you updated as we find out more information. We have a crash on 295 northbound at exit 45. That is at Mount Holly Road, also known as Roncocas Road in West Hampton Township. The ramp lane is closed. Crash investigation now on 78 eastbound west of exit 44, Glenside Ave, Berkeley Heights, with the left lane closed. And the one you're looking at now is the cleanup from an earlier jackknife tractor trailer at I-78 eastbound west of exit 45, Glenside Ave and Summit. 2 right lanes of the 3 lanes in the right shoulder were closed. That's what's coming towards you. So you see the lanes being impacted there, both way at the top and at the bottom. You can see the stopped vehicles there. And that is from that jackknife tractor trailer that was a little bit earlier. We mention this every couple of weeks. What happens is when it seems that airlines tend to offer specials, and when they do, people by the thousands buy tickets, and then they all jam at the airports at the same time. So you show up with your car. If you live like an hour away, you drive yourself to the airport, and then there's nowhere to park. This is what's happening. So JFK, I know we're in New Jersey, but JFK is reporting that their main Terminal 4 parking, their long-term parking, is now 96% occupied. Why do we tell you that? Because we don't want you to get in your car in Newark and drive an hour and a half in morning drive traffic to JFK to get that deal on a flight, only to find there's no place to park your car. So what you do is before you leave your car, go online and get a pre-reserved parking space on one of the satellite parking lots. Make sure they offer shuttle service. Otherwise, you got to take an Uber. A lot of people don't realize that. Not all places offer shuttle service. Make sure they offer it and pre-reserve. That way you'll have a parking space. That's also true, by the way, at LaGuardia and Newark, but it's a bigger deal right now at JFK. Apparently, a lot of the flights coming out of JFK offered specials, and so their parking lots are absolutely jammed. The Lincoln Tunnel right now is 25 to 30 in. It's 20 minutes at the Holland GWB upper and lower levels. Not so bad. Take a look at this. You can see a little bit of a slowdown there. That's the lower level approach, but that's still moving in about 30 miles, 30 minutes, I should say. Upper level is going to be about 35, making your way in. It is 5 minutes past the hour right now. We have breaking news in the Nancy Guthrie story. Police now acknowledge reports that 2 ransom notes were sent to various media outlets. The notes allegedly demanding millions of dollars in cryptocurrency for the 84-year-old's safe return. They allegedly get into detail, such as what Mrs. Guthrie was wearing when she was abducted. Also, investigators said Mrs. Guthrie's pacemaker stopped syncing with her Apple devices early Sunday, and blood spatters were found inside the home's entrance out to the driveway. The mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie remains missing this morning as law enforcement welcomes any tips that may lead to her possible abductor. Yesterday, President Trump said he would reach out to Savannah Guthrie and offer any additional aid the U.S. government can provide, although this remains an investigation under the auspices of the local police in her hometown there of Tucson, Arizona. 8:06 is our time. A U.S. aircraft carrier shot down an Iranian drone that aggressively approached the ship in the Arabian Sea yesterday, just hours before 2 gunboats operated by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps approached a U.S. flagged tanker in the Strait of Hormuz and threatened to board and seize the ship. The 2 incidents occurred days before the U.S. government and the Iranian government will meet Friday for diplomatic negotiations meant to avert a military clash. No U.S. service members were hurt. You can imagine the mighty force of the U.S. in the Strait of Hormuz being approached and threatened by a couple of little boats from Iran threatening to board. They kind of got laughed at, needless to say. 8:07, Congress approved a spending package yesterday that secures funding for the vast majority of federal agencies through September, ending the second government shutdown in the span of 4 months. But what is left unfinished? Funding for the Department of Homeland Security will be a major challenge, with partisan tensions over the nation's immigration enforcement agenda threatening another lapse for the embattled department that also includes TSA, FEMA, and other crucial agencies. Jill Biden's ex-husband has been arrested and charged with murder in the death of his current wife. William Stevenson was taken into custody by Newcastle County Police in Wilmington, Delaware, Monday, following an investigation into the death of his wife, Linda Stevenson, who was found unresponsive, dead, back in December. No comment from the former First Lady. Mind you, she's been divorced from her ex-husband for decades. Bill and Hillary Clinton will appear before the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee in closed-door interviews February 27th and 26th, respectively, meeting a noon deadline imposed by GOP leadership to avoid being held in contempt of Congress. The Clintons initially decided they would not comply with the subpoenas, and they skipped out on their scheduled depositions last month, at which point the committee moved to hold both in contempt. The Clintons reversed course, though, Monday night as the House was in the process of teeing up contempt resolutions for floor votes as soon as today, which could have resulted in the FBI hauling off the 2 to prison. It is a victory that could have a chilling effect on those who would help minors transition their genders. A 22-year-old woman who identified as a boy as a teen won a $2 million decision in a landmark lawsuit against New York doctors accused of pushing a double mastectomy on her when she was only 16. Her name is Fox Varian. She had the life-altering surgery after getting approval from a psychologist and a surgeon, both of whom a jury found liable of medical malpractice on Friday. Varian is now 22 and considered a detransitioner. She was awarded $1.6 million for past and future pain and suffering, and an additional $400,000 for future medical expenses in the first detransitioner malpractice lawsuit in the nation to go to trial and win. Psychologist Dr. Kenneth Einhorn and surgeon Dr. Simon Chin were held responsible in Westchester County Supreme Court, that's in White Plains, for ignoring standards of care and procedural guardrails by pressuring the minor into addressing gender dysphoria with permanent surgery. Varian's mother, listen up, Claire Deacon, testified that she was against the surgery, but she only consented to it because the doctors kept hounding her, saying, if you don't let your daughter have the surgery, she will be dead. She will commit suicide. There's no proof that that's the case. Kids threaten things all the time and don't carry it out. Not that you ever want to risk your child committing suicide. but to give in to the child removing body parts because two doctors who stand to make 100 grand apiece are saying she'll commit suicide if she doesn't have this procedure is baloney. Don't acquiesce. Get second and third and fourth opinions. All told, 28 detransitioner lawsuits are now in different stages of legal proceedings across the U.S. Bottom line, doctors are going to start saying, hey, I don't want to lose $2 million in my practice. Watch these detransitioning doctors start to disappear here like they have in England. Do you know that England was the first to lead the way to transitioning surgery? They were the first. They and Sweden and Denmark, they were big on transitioning surgery. They all outlawed it now. And doctors there all got their asses sewed off and handed to them. So watch this stop in the US. It all comes down to this. Doctors who were making millions a year cutting off your child's body parts, now they're saying, oh, maybe I'll reconsider. Look, if you're 18 and above and you want to have your nose cut off, that's your business. But when a kid is 16 and one day wants to be Spider-Man and the next day wants to be a flight attendant, you don't acquiesce when they want to have their breasts cut off. Bottom line, gender dysphoria is a psychological disorder. You don't treat psychological disorders by cutting off body parts. It isn't done for any other psychological disorder. But there is too much cash to be made in surgical transitioning, something rarely spoken about. New Jersey has more than 600 school districts, more than most states, and lawmakers are debating whether consolidating districts can cut administrative costs. Proposals now on the table include everything from mandating mergers to offering incentives to merge, or even just sharing services. Consolidation could lower property taxes, but some parents fear too much consolidating could lead to a loss of quality control over local districts. You don't want your district consolidated with the next district and they have maybe really bad teachers, and then all of a sudden their students are coming to your district, whatever. The bottom line, though, is the state of Florida, where I live part-time, has only 30 school districts. They save millions of dollars a year on their school systems. 8:13, and when we come back, struggling with addiction, shame, and other self-destructive patterns can feel awful, but change is possible. Mostly sunny today, highs low 30s, then another bitter cold night tonight. A full Garden State forecast when we return. You're watching On New Jersey Morning, stream daily on ONNJ.com, ONLACA.com, Roku, Fire TV, News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, Facebook, and X. Now stream live on Local Now, Substack, Rumble, and Twitch. We'll be right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday, 8:15. Sunshine today, highs low 30s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike. Chilly Willy was a bear. Chilly Willy had no hair. Finish it.
Ken, you escaped just in time for the brutalest cold of the year. And we've been saying how it's been so cold, it's been so cold. No, the coldest part of the winter actually arrives in New Jersey on Saturday and Sunday morning, because with the wind and the Arctic air, it will feel like it's 20 to 30 degrees below zero. Hard to imagine. It'll feel 60 degrees colder than it does right now at the shore, and it's just at around freezing. So this afternoon, even right now, we're hovering right around 31 or 30 degrees there at the shore. The winds, they're not so bad today or tomorrow. I mean, they're gusting up to about 14, 15 miles per hour. But it's Saturday morning where those winds get going up to 34 miles an hour, even by Flemington, 36 miles per hour down in LBI, and the 40 mile per hour gusts continue all day Saturday into Saturday night, and yes, even again through Sunday morning. What does that translate to with the Arctic air? Well, wind chills tomorrow morning will be down on either side of zero, which is bad. We get that. But then you look forward to Friday morning, and again, either side of zero, a few degrees below zero, a few degrees above zero. But it's Saturday morning when you have all of that harsh winds coming in, making it feel like 29 below zero up in Sussex, -5 over in Long Branch, -11 in Newark, and even through the afternoon, it doesn't get any better. It stays around -16 in Newark, -11 in Toms River, and -10 in Camden, and even for Sunday morning, that harsh cold continues. So yeah, it's going to be rough going into this weekend with what will be the worst of the cold, and then it finally warms up into the end of next week. Keeping an eye on just another round of cloudy weather today, not expecting any snow until Friday. That'll be a next round of light snow with a clipper system that comes through, arrives later in the day, Friday afternoon, taking over after a very cold start. These are actual air temperatures down in the single digits. You see the blue rush by, just a quick dusting, and then we move forward into, again, the coldest part of the winter just yet. So again, 1 to 2 inches likely at the worst case scenario. That's even, I think, on the high end. And to this weekend with that cold weather remaining, afternoon highs struggling to make it into the teens, but it's the wind and the wind chill, Ken, that will certainly feel very, very harsh.
All right, sir. Don't like harsh. That's why I fled to South Florida right now. Got in yesterday afternoon. By the way, 61 when I arrived in South Florida. You're going to say, well, that sounds wonderful. And it was, I think, beautiful, fresh, dry, only 30% humidity. It was like the Southwest.
Wow.
But people were bundled up. I saw people in parkas for 61 degrees in South Florida. A parka. I was like, no. In New York, in New Jersey, we stopped wearing parkas at like 30. So
Yeah.
it was interesting to see that the difference in the what you're used to. That's really what it comes
Right.
down to. All right, Mike. Thank you, sir. It is 28 degrees right now in Trenton. It is 29 degrees northern New Jersey, 29 degrees in Cape May. We look at traffic. Let's go over, if we shall, to Route 1. Route 1 right now has a crash, and of course, it just updated on my screen. Where did it go? Okay, well, nonetheless, Route 1, and you can see things are moving. That's why they probably pulled it off the screen. Route 1 did have a crash there. It was actually by Hamilton. We'll just take that off, fam. We now have a crash on I-80, local lanes westbound east of exit 43, which is 287 Parsippany Troy Hills. That just happened. The right lane is closed, and they're working on that now. So we have a crash also 295 northbound by exit 45 at Holly Road. Oh, there's the 80 crash. Pam is quick on the buttons. So there's that. That just happened. Parsippany Troy Hills, I-80 by exit 43, 287. We have, again, a crash on 295 northbound at exit 43, Mount Holly. And then we have a crash investigation 78 eastbound west of exit 44, which is Route 527 Glenside Ave. And we have problems still at the area airports. Not that the airports have issues, but the parking lots, the long-term parking lots are all at 90 to 100% capacity. So if you intend on driving to one of the 3 major area airports, make sure you have a reserved long-term parking space. Otherwise, just Uber it, Lyft it. Don't do parking unless you have a reserved parking space, because you may drive an hour or two, get there and find out there is no place to park. Let's look at the Hudson River crossings right now. The Holland Tunnel is reporting 20 minutes in. Lincoln is now 30. GWB upper and lower levels, we take a look, it was actually, let's see, it's now stopped. Okay, that's the lower level approach there. You see that tractor trailer stopped, upper level there from on top. It's moving a little better, but nonetheless, we're told about 40 minutes into Manhattan. It is 8:20, and struggling with addiction, shame, and other self-destructive patterns can feel awful, but change is possible. Shannon Kim is an award-winning author, TEDx speaker, and transformational mentor. In her new book called Find the Answers Within You, 10 Pathways Towards Self-Discovery, Shannon shares her journey through childhood trauma, addiction, loss, and recovery, and offers an amazing roadmap for healing. She shares a lot of her personal story, and we say good morning to you, Shannon.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being on here.
Well, it's an honor to have you on, and there's a lot in my family as well with addiction, and so hearing this, it's close to my heart. So please share with us your childhood and how your early experiences shaped your addiction.
So my book is based upon all of this. I talk about my childhood in the first part of my book. My upbringing, how I became a people pleaser, a chameleon, how I basically ended up marrying into a narcissistic family, and it how all of these things combined together. I suppressed my feelings and emotions for many years. So what ended up happening is I became addicted to alcohol. I was to the point where I would start drinking every morning by 6:30 a.m., and I would end up by the end of the night, sometimes drinking almost 6 bottles of wine every single day. And then in the second part of my book, I talk about my awakening, my journey, how I healed myself. And then in the third part of the book is how those that are struggling with addiction, that they can also follow the pathways that I went through, so then they can also heal within their journey as well.
Yeah, I'm so glad you talk about the fact that addiction is not a choice, but a symptom of unresolved trauma, because too many people say, he's a drunk, just stop drinking. Like as if you just stubbed your toe and just put on a Band-Aid. That's ignorance. People don't understand. Addiction is, you could say a disease. It is a disease, but it's really more, as you said, a symptom of an unresolved trauma. So you could say that if you're bleeding out, you could be bleeding out because there's an issue underneath, or you could be, you could have a disease that you don't have blood clotting, et cetera. But you have to look at it. You don't criticize. You look at it, you analyze it, you see how to deal with it. So how do we change the way ignorance in society is dealt with and how people understand addiction better?
The biggest thing is they need to get educated. For someone like me that was addicted to alcohol for many years, I did not realize how all of this had affected me throughout the years until I actually went to the treatment center. Now, the treatment center didn't give me all the information that I needed. This was a continuing thing that I needed to do, and I still do it every single day, because the addiction is just a small part of it. And it wasn't till I actually started, I ended up hiring mentors, life coaches, individuals that had gone through that same scenario that I had gone through. That was where I really learned what I needed to get to this point in my life, which is true freedom, happiness, health, joy, peace, all of that, that could really help me to change who I am and become that greater version of who I am today. And within my book, I talk about all of these different things that I had went through, and it was a life-changing experience. And I'm so grateful for all of these individuals that helped me. But not only that, now I am helping thousands of people by everything that I've learned through my own life experiences, because books cannot teach you what I have gone through. And I'm living
100%.
proof.
100%. Thank God for that. Talk about August 17th, 2019, a turning point in your life. What happened that day?
When I woke up that day, that was me being extremely vulnerable. And that was me saying to myself that this is not happening anymore. I had to face the fact that I was in a very unhealthy and unhappy marriage. I was married to a narcissist, and I did marry into a narcissistic family. That was the day that I also had to take responsibility for everything that I had done in life. Now, this wasn't something that I just woke up to. It was just these little fragments that I realized I was willing to change. It was also the beginning of me really discovering what my personal why was. Why did I want to change? Why did I need to change? That was when I realized I wanted to be a good person. I wanted to be a good mother. That was so important to me because I did not want my children to live the life that I had lived all of those years. And the way that I was going, they would. They were heading in that direction. And my final why was because I wanted to be a mentor. I wanted to help all those people out here that were going through the exact same thing that I was going through. And I knew that I could do it.
We're down to the last minute. If you could just share what triggers are out there, because a lot of people try to avoid triggers when recovering, but you argue that doesn't work. Why and what do you recommend instead of the concept of avoiding triggers? Because it's just like you could say, "Oh, I'll just get rid of the alcohol in the house." Then you'll go out and buy more alcohol, right? So I mean, what is the recommendation instead?
I'm going to shift people's mind on this specific thing because triggers are there for a reason. Triggers are actually there as a gift. Triggers are there to remind you that those things within your life are there for you to heal. So every time you have a trigger, that's a sign. That is something that you have unresolved and you need to heal. And once you go through that process, it's life changing.
And you lost 80 pounds too in the process as you transform your life. We have to have you back on to talk about this because you are an example of total transformation. And the idea that you are helping so many other people now is just a blessing. What is a website to get more information and to find your book?
ShannonKim.com, or you can go onto all of the socials, which are Shannon Kim.
All right. Award-winning author, TEDx speaker, transformational mentor, author of Find the Answers Within You, 10 Pathways Towards Self-Discovery. And I think a blessing from God. You were put here for a reason to help a lot of people through their own challenges because you've overcome yours. Shannon Kim, thank you for sharing your story with us and for getting so personal. And congratulations on where you are today. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
You bet. It is now just an amazing story. It is now 28 degrees, and we are coming back in 2 minutes. Don't go away.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Good morning. It's 8:30, Wednesday, February 4th. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, and our phone lines are open at 888-658-0234. Mostly sunny today, highs low 30s. Another bitter cold night tonight. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full chilly Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, so you're telling me it'll start to warm up mid-July.
Mid-July, yeah. The real heat will head in our direction in the next probably week or so. And then finally, yes, we'll get some summer-like warmth in the following months. But it's all about the brutal cold this weekend, Ken, and the clouds that are around right now. You can kind of see them break up across northwestern New Jersey. This is the visible satellite that need the sun in order to see this, but there's this low-hanging cloud cover that's very thin across New Jersey right now, giving us a little bit of that white across our skies. Now, down across southern New Jersey, we start off the morning around freezing, getting to the freezing mark by the end of the day, but clouds are on tap all this afternoon as we started off our sunrise now, getting later and later, 7:03, earlier and earlier, that is, 7:03, sunset happening after 5 p.m. That's a nice change. But with our average high of 41 degrees, still struggling just to make it to the 40s, we go in the opposite direction and get colder over the next few days. So here's all the cloud cover right now. Our next round of cold comes in tonight with this cold front. You see it there offshore into tomorrow. And then reinforcing cold for the weekend. That also comes with a little bit of snow. You see the shades of blue here. A light round of a clipper system usually gives us no more than a coating to an inch. Once that clears, it's all about the brutal cold that sets up for the weekend. So with the wind chill, these teens in single digits will feel like it's 20 to 30 degrees below zero, not rebounding back to above the freezing mark until Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Even for you down the shore, no matter where you find yourself this weekend, the brutal cold will extend right down toward the beach neighborhoods and only climb back to the 29-degree mark on Monday. Tuesday, first time above freezing again in about a week, Ken.
First time above freezing. Wow, and what I was reading from some of the folks who are lesser weather people. They're not meteorologists like yourself.
Yeah.
They're lesser weather, but they have written that this is one of the longest stretches in something like 50 years of 30 or under 32 degree temperatures for the New York tri-state. So it's been like almost 2.5 weeks or something like that, which is a long stretch. Mike, I'm sure, will confirm that one way or the other and will let us know. But nonetheless, it is darn cold. Either way, doesn't matter if it's breaking a record, it's just cold.
Right.
All right, Mike, we appreciate you, sir. It is 28 degrees in Trenton right now, 30 degrees northern New Jersey, 30 degrees in Cape May, 29 in Vineland. In terms of traffic, a lot of things have cleared up now as we get toward the end of the broadcast. We have a crash investigation still on I-78 eastbound west of exit 44, Glenside Ave and Berkeley Heights with the left lane closed. And we have that jackknife tractor trailer. It's been cleaned up little by little. You could see they're working on it. And this is located also on 78. This is eastbound west of exit 45 by Glenside Ave and Summit. 2 right lanes of the 3 lanes in the right shoulder remain closed, but you can see it's not causing massive traffic through the area. It's moving okay. The Hudson River crossings right now, the Lincoln and Holland both reporting 25 to 30. GWB upper and lower levels a little bit slower. You can see we had, of course, the sun glare, but that's the lower levels you're looking at. You can see the box truck there. It's about 40 to 45 in, and a lot of that is actually due to the easterly sun in people's faces. We don't take that into account, but people drive more slowly, and they should, because they have to be careful as that sun is blinding them. And you get that bright easterly sun that's causing the slowdown because there are no accidents and there isn't an especially high volume of traffic. If you're heading to any of the 3 major airports throughout the region, and you're driving there, make sure you have a reserved parking space. Many of the lots, especially over at JFK, their main lot, Terminal 4 lot, which is, I think it holds 10,000 vehicles. That lot is 97% full. So you may show up at the various airports and not have a place to park. So make sure you make a reservation online before you go to one of those airports, or just Uber it, cab it, Lyft it instead of driving. That's probably your better bet. Unless it's really far, then you have to drive. Make sure you have a reservation. All right, when it comes to artificial intelligence and emerging technology, well, we have something to talk about. New Jersey ranks toward the top of the pack. James Baroud is the CEO of Innovation Plus and the founder of Innovate 100, working closely with founders, investors, and industry leaders, and he is helping drive conversations around AI, entrepreneurship, and what the future of innovation looks like right here in New Jersey. We say to you, good morning, James.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
It's great. Good to have you on. You ran a recent AI-powered hackathon experiment. Talk about this. It was to launch the third annual Innovate 100. How'd that all work out?
Well, they were separate, but the hackathon was last Saturday, a week and 2 days ago, and that was mostly students, and it was wonderful. It was really, Ken, with the tools, the AI tools so powerful these days. It really was a vibe-a-thon, right? Because they weren't doing code; they were just asking the AI tools, coming up with solutions to problems. And the challenge that we gave them was the affordability crisis in New Jersey. So yeah, go ahead.
Can I pause you for a second? You know what worries me? If everybody keeps relying on AI, will there come a point when there will be no human left who knows how to program code, knows how to code computer programs, and who's going to eventually make AI? Just other AI? And then I'm really getting there now. Then you get to the point of, why do we even exist? Because AI will just make AI and code, and why do we need humans?
That's a great point. And that's one of the things that we were really concerned about, right? We didn't want students to use it as a shortcut. And so we specifically designed this hackathon or vibe-a-thon as a way for the students to use the tools to stretch their brain, right? So to augment their creativity and their critical thinking to create new solutions. And so, again, we can't get into the details now, but you could use it effectively to debate, to challenge your ideas and come up with the best idea. And then you can analyze the ideas and then present the ideas. And that's what we did. So in a matter of a few hours, these young people, mostly high schoolers, came up with some really great ideas. But your point is well taken. Clearly, things are getting moving very fast as far as AI is doing everything and disrupting society and our economy.
I mean, I know I sound like an old man, but I remember when the calculator came out and they let when Texas Instruments came out with a portable calculator, I was in school. All right. I mean, I'm 58. And I remember that everyone said, oh, if these kids start using calculators, they'll never be able to do math again. And to some extent, that's true. I mean, you have kids who don't, who they kind of skirt over learning math in school, but you have to know the basics. My thing is, AI is great as a tool, but I think we just have to make sure that students know how to create AI so that we always have that ability to teach one another to advance that, to get to the next level of technology instead of just letting technology get to the next level of technology. There are so many tech events happening in New Jersey this month. What does that tell you about the state of the state's tech sector?
This state has come a long way. We have a great legacy of innovation, but over the years, we've fallen behind, whether it's New York or Boston or the West Coast, or even new upstarts like Miami or Texas, Austin. Right. So the last few years have seen a great sort of explosion in entrepreneurial and tech activity, thanks to a lot of things, right? Some luck with the COVID exodus from other places, including the city, but also the EDA has come on strong, launching 100 new programs with some of that COVID money that Phil Murphy put to good use. So we are in a great spot, and the next few years, we will see the results of those investments. In addition, one of the programs we run is the Innovate 100, which honors innovative leaders across industries. And so if anyone wants to nominate folks, that deadline is coming up this Friday. So innovatenewjersey.com, a very simple process to submit names and why they should be honored.
I love that. And I love that New Jersey's behind that. That's fantastic. Where do you see the momentum and the best opportunities for growth right now?
Well, I think it's with AI, if you can, use it effectively, all industries can be sort of supported, right? Obviously, we have a great farm tech, biotech background here in the state, and we're seeing a lot of activity there. In fact, there's an event this Thursday night. BioNJ is having their annual meeting with 800 people coming. That's going to be a great event. But other areas like fintech, energy, enterprise tech, we have just so much great talent in this state. So really, the sky is the limit as far as leveraging the technology to create new businesses and to grow our current businesses.
And you work with both startups and established companies. So how is AI impacting and changing competition?
Well, it is a tricky time, right? For startup, it's great. They use the AI. They have to, right, to be competitive. For the bigger companies, it's a little more challenging, right? Getting all the employees on board to use it effectively, to be competitive with the upstarts, right, that are leveraging the AI very effectively, that may, impede on the growth of the current enterprise or hurt their stock price, right? So that's a real dilemma, opportunity, but also dilemma, because it's whenever there's a new technology that's so disruptive and so powerful, you need to get all your employees on board, and then it's a change management issue, which is, challenging, and that's when you need really a strong, sustained leadership to make it happen.
What advice would you have for entrepreneurs who feel it's just so overwhelming right now? Do I even bother getting into it? Well, AI, that is. What would you tell an entrepreneur who would like to put their toe in the water?
I would say this is a golden age right now. These tools are essentially free, and it's so easy to sort of take something from idea to execution in a weekend, Ken. In a weekend, it is so easy. You don't have to be a coder. That's the beauty of it. You could just tell the machine, tell the computer what you want to create, and it will do it. So it's a great way to experiment, to explore. You probably won't get rich, but you could have a nice side hustle that helps pay the bills. But the most important thing is it's so empowering to create something and build it so quickly and see where it goes.
It is amazing. I use it all the time. I'm going to confess. I use it for simple stuff, but it does work. What's a website for more information? Speaking of technical things, James.
Well, for folks to learn about new events, jerseytechandinnovation.com is our media site that covers everything tech and innovation in the state. In fact, we'll have some new hackathons coming up. So any folks who are interested, they should just get on our email list to learn about the events that are coming up.
Love it. James Baroud, CEO of Innovation Plus and the founder of Innovate 100. Thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
You bet. And we will be back in 2 minutes.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday, 8:45. Mostly sunny today, highs low 30s. Another bitter cold night tonight. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast for you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
So, Mike, I looked at some of the cameras I have outside my place in Morris County, and I could see the snow has basically turned into a solid sheet of ice. It's given up at this
Yes,
point. So,
it is.
how long is that going to last?
At least for the next week or so, we'll probably see melting commence in about 7 days and beyond, because the good news is this is one of my favorite maps of the day. Couldn't wait to show it to you. Save the best for last, right? Going into the middle of February, right through February 18th, the Climate Prediction Center thinks that going into the next few weeks, we'll have warmer than average temperatures going into the east and even the Midwest for most of the country. But with the jet stream flipping, now it's California's turn and the West Coast to tap into cooler than average weather. So that will be a nice change considering how cold it's been. It's another chilly day today, a little break of sunshine through the afternoon as temperatures climb into the low 30s, make it up to 34 in Jersey City, 33 in Newark. So bringing back more of that milder feel just for today, because we're back down in the freezer tomorrow, right through the weekend, where the wind chills will be well below zero for the entire state, as cold as 30 degrees below zero by Saturday and Sunday morning. Even the afternoons, wind chills are below zero. And then into the end of next week, we'll see temperatures climb into the upper 30s. Remember, 40 is our average high for this time of year. Make it to 43 down the shore by next Wednesday. So there will be a big melting ahead as we finally see blacktop again across many driveways here across New Jersey.
What's blacktop? I haven't seen black. All I've seen is a coating of white salt. That's it. That's all I know.
That's it.
I brought my car to the car wash the other day to try to get some of that salt off. After I went through, it just minimized the salt. There's still salt all over the
Oh,
car.
man.
I give up.
Terrible.
I give up. There it is. You know, I'm not going to buy any salt at the market for the next 6 months, because all I have to do is go outside to my driveway of my car and
That's
just
it.
scrape a little off into a bucket and take it inside. All right, Mike, we appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow, my friend. Catch you
See
tomorrow
ya.
morning. Don't make fun of me, Pam. Pam's got to hate. Yes, okay, it's salt. Salt is salt, Pam. It is what it is. We take Tri-State right now. And by the way, degrees in Trenton, 28 northern New Jersey as well. We still have the ongoing issue at I-78 eastbound west of exit 45, Glenside Ave and Summit, 2 right lanes of 3 lanes on the right shoulder closed from a jackknife tractor trailer. They've been working on that all morning. So you could see that some of the vehicles closer to the bottom of the screen, that's really close, but it stretches for about a quarter of a mile. They've had emergency vehicles there much of the morning, and that's causing a bit of a mess for folks on I-78 headed eastbound. Again, west of exit 45 in Summit. Also on 78, different, separate issue, crash investigation eastbound west of exit 44, which is Glenside Ave, Berkeley Heights, with 1 left lane closed in that case. We're being told once again to remind everybody, if you are driving to any of the 3 major area airports, if you don't have a reserved parking space, you may want to get one, because many of the parking lots are now at capacity. People are flying out. There are a lot of airline deals this week. Pardon me. So make sure before you head out the door, you have a reserved parking space, or you may drive an hour and a half, get to the airport, and have no place to park your car and miss your flight. So what was the whole point? So reserve a parking space. Looking at the Hudson River crossings, the Holland Tunnel, 25 minutes. Lincoln is 30. GWB upper and lower level right now, a little on the heavy side. Sorry for the sun glare. You can't even see it. But the lower level, you can kind of make some motion there. You see that truck there at the bottom by where it says Mornings with Ken Rosato. Okay. So they're moving in about 10 miles an hour. So it's going to cost you about 40 minutes making your way upper or lower across the GWB into Manhattan. All right. Think warm thoughts. Think June weather. That's the way to get over the cold, okay? Time to launch into 2026 seaside style in Atlantic City. The Hook from Spiegelworld is Atlantic City's only year-round resident production, an adults-only high-energy spectacle packed with jaw-dropping acrobatics, comedy, and nonstop surprises. Chanel Menage, a hula hoop, hula would be the way we say it in England, hula hoop, a hula hoop and hoop diving circus artist, helping to bring that electric energy to the stage at Caesars Atlantic City. We say good morning to you, Chanel.
Good morning.
You like my new pronunciation for hula? Hula hoop. It's a
I
hula
do.
hoop.
I have actually never heard that before, and I think I might start
Neither
saying it
have I.
myself.
Neither have I. Let's make it sound like it really exists. So tell me about the hook. It sounds absolutely amazing. What is the hook all about?
Yes, well, The Hook is a really, really fun show. As you said before, it's adults only. Um, I think that with being so close to the sea, we definitely bring that in the show. So we've got a theme of sailors, pirates, even exotic lobsters in the show. You could kind of see in my act, I'm definitely enjoying the beach all year round in the theater.
Well, I'm speaking to you right now. Normally, I'm in Morris County, New Jersey. I talk about that all the time. Right this minute, though, I gave up. I'm in Fort Lauderdale doing the program, so I'm not going to lie to you. 5 feet to my left is the ocean. We're right on the ocean. So I'm with you. So I'm with the nautical theme here, 100%. So when you say it's
Mhm.
adult only, is there a reason? Is it language or is it clothing or what is it that makes it adult only?
It's definitely an accumulation of both. We have our MC, which is I would say more on the vulgar side, but I believe that's what makes the hook the hook. And you can kind of see the costumes, the acts are always a little bit more savvy, sexy. That's what I would describe.
It's cool. Listen, that's as long as you tell people at the beginning so they don't bring their 8-year-old, that's a good thing. So now we know. And
Exactly.
that's all. So talk about the hula hoop, brother. Diving.
I'm sorry, I could not hear that. My apologies.
No, it's okay. I said, what is hoop diving?
So, hoop diving, I like to give the visual of the tiger that jumps through the hoop of fire. So, I am the tiger, the hoops are not on fire, but they're stacked one on top of each other, and I'll do acrobatics through them without making the hoops fall. So,
I
in the
love it.
hook, we do a group act of this. So, we're three acrobats who jump through hoops together on the stage.
That is amazing. And that is some serious gymnastics you have to be able to do what you're doing. That's phenomenal. Would the hook be a good Valentine's or Galentine's Day gift?
I would maybe say more Galentine's Day gift. It's definitely not a romantic show,
Mhm.
but I think it is very entertaining. And if you're looking for a fun night out, I would 100% recommend The Hook.
It's look, for anyone in New York, New Jersey, or Philadelphia, it's a relatively short drive to Atlantic City. The hotels are beautiful. The sea line is beautiful. Even in the winter, the sea line there is fabulous. It's just a pretty thing to look at. And right now, for those who don't realize, Atlantic City is nice because it's not jammed. When you get into July and August, it's jammed. Right now, it's beautiful. Go there, go to the casinos, go to a nice night out, and then you could go and see the Hook and make it a whole thing. And then when you're done seeing the Hook, you have a cocktail and you go to your hotel room instead of risking driving, right? So that's you make it a whole event. And the nice thing is Atlantic City won't cost you your a month salary, and you could really enjoy it. What's a website for tickets or more information to see the Hook?
Yeah, so tickets they start at $60. You can get them either at spiegelworld.com or you can even go if you're in Atlantic City at the Hook's box office, which is inside the horse dive bar on the boardwalk directly.
Nice. How long have you been doing the show?
The show itself, I have started in October, so I'm one of their newly additions. I was actually studying circus in Montreal before then, and so this is my first official contract.
Nice. And circus has really evolved. I know that 30 and 40 years ago, maybe some of the smaller circuses had a lot of animals they weren't treating as nicely. And so, of course, you had animal rights activists screaming about it. And it's been different, right? It's now different. Most circuses don't have animals at all, or if they do, they treat them with the utmost of respect. But circus has evolved into much more of an acrobatic spectacle, right? So, have you seen the resurgence? Because I remember there was a period of about 15, 20 years when you didn't hear much about the word circus, which by the way translates from the Latin for round. Circus in Latin just means circle. And that's because of the shape, right, of your performance. It's in the round. What have you seen the evolution bring back audiences again?
I think that's a hard question for me to answer since I've been doing circus since I was 9 years old. I feel like this has been my whole world since I've been
Hmm.
growing up. So it's hard for me to see a difference since every time I've performed, there's been people there. I definitely do feel like there's more options for circus now in entertainment and in performing just overall. People have been putting circus in concerts, for instance. Which I don't think was been done before. So there's definitely new ways I would say that circus has been appearing. But for me, I've seen it my whole life, so it's a bit harder to answer this question.
And I know personally know people who have been in the circus. They were in another one that was, let's just say it contains what is the nickname for New York City, the big blump, blump, blump. That's the circus I'm talking about. And two friends of mine, they're brothers. They joined, their families were never in circus. They decided when they were young teens, they wanted to get involved and they're hooked. They've been doing it for 20 years. They love it. That's their lives. And once you get into it, right, doesn't it become your blood? It just is what you do. But people don't realize how much work it is. You really put in a lot of time to do what you do so well because it's live and you are right in front of people's faces, right up close. So I applaud you for all the effort you do to make it look so amazing. The Hook, playing at Caesars Atlantic City, hula hoop and hoop diving expert extraordinaire, circus artist Chanel Monange. I love the name. Thank you for coming
Thank
on
you
this
very
morning.
much.
We have to check out your show. It's going to be great. You bet. Thank you again. It is now 8:58, and that's Aussie Mornings for this Wednesday, February 4th. I'm Ken Rosato. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says it'll be mostly sunny today, highs in the low 30s. Another bitter cold night tonight, getting super cold this weekend. Remember, we're streamed daily on ONNJ.com, also on the West Coast on ONLACA.com, on LACA.com. Roku, Fire TV News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, Facebook, X, and also streamed live on Local Now, Substack, Rumble, and Twitch. Go to twitch.tv/on Jersey. Like what you saw, tell all your friends about it. So we'll see you again tomorrow morning starting 7 a.m. with Mornings with Ken Rosato. Have a great day.